Okay, we're going to work on making a histogram right now. On the left, what you see here is just some random numbers that I've made up that we're going to call our data. And so to begin, what we have to do is we have to create our bins. So an easy thing just to help remember is you create a column, title it bins, and once you do that, you have to decide what are going to be the widths of the bins. Okay, in this case, we'll do them in increments of 5. So first one's 5, and then I'll put a little formula in to save some time. And there we have all our bins up to 65. Okay, now that we have our bins, we want to create another column which we're going to call our frequency column. And our frequency column is basically we want to know how many times any one of these values within our data fell within this bin, and this bin is from 0 to 5. And right here we want to know how many times any one of these values fell between 5 and 10, so just above 5 and all the way up to 10. So we want to know the count, we want to know the frequency. So what we can do is you can create a formula. So you type equals, begin to type frequency, it should pop up right away. You double click on it, and this will pop up. What they want to know is they want to know first of all what our data array is, meaning they want to know what is the range of values within our data. And the easiest thing to do is to just go over here, highlight our data. So our data ranges from A2 to A21. You go comma, just as it indicates, space, and then it wants to know what our bins array is. So you go over here where our bins are, you highlight all of the bins, close the parentheses, and then you hit enter. So this 2 means that there are 2 values within our data that fall between 0 and 5. You can see there's the 4 and the number 1 right here. Now we want to get the frequency count for all of our bins, and it's a little strange how you do this, but once you understand it, once you do it a couple times, it becomes really easy. All you do is you highlight the bins, or the bins that you want to get a frequency count for. You place the cursor in the formula, and then you hit Control, Shift, and Enter at the same time. Then all the frequencies show up for each one of the bins. Okay, now that we have our bins and the frequency count for each bin, we want to actually create our graph, our chart. So in order to do that, you just go Insert, go to the columns, and you pick the first one. Okay, we'll leave it blank. Notice I didn't highlight any of the data first. Now we need to include the data, however. So what you do is you right click anywhere inside the chart and you go to Select Data. And what it's going to ask you for first is the data range. And the data range, that's indicating what the Y values are, what's going to be along the Y axis. And in our case, our frequency is always along the Y axis. So you put the cursor in here, you make sure you highlight this section, and you highlight what you want the data range to be. You'll notice in the background it starts to create it. Once we have that, you can see so far this is what it looks like. It's not exactly perfect. It doesn't say anything about our bins. Okay, our bins go up to 65 from 5 through 65, but right here our bins go from 1 to 13, which is not correct. So we need to edit the horizontal axis labels. So you click on Edit, and you highlight what we want along the x-axis. In this case, we want our bins. So you highlight those, and you can see they're going to show up now. Hit OK. Hit OK one more time. And there we have our histogram. Now we need to clean it up a little bit. We'll get rid of this. And what we can do is we can change the layout a little bit. We can change the colors of the bars. We can make them that color. We can make them look like that, which is pretty cool, which will work for now. Use that. We can also change the layout, how everything looks, how it all fits together. What we want in this class is we want the bars to be right next to each other. We don't want these gaps that you can see between each bar. In this case there's going to be a gap because there's no count at 20, but these gaps We don't want those. It makes it more difficult to compare bars when they're side by side. We want them right next to each other. So you're going to click on this one. This one has them right next to each other. You click on that and you get this. What's also convenient about this layout is it gives you an opportunity to edit the title of the chart. So you just click up here, double click, delete what they have, you write whatever you want, histogram, you can change the axis title, so down here, change it to bins, over here, you can make it the frequency, make it whatever you want. And there we have our histogram. Now the last thing we want to do is we want to clean up our histogram a little bit. If you notice over here on the y-axis, the values are increasing by 0.5s, which is completely unnecessary because our frequency counts all increase by 1s, which you can see right here in our data. So what I'm going to do real quick is you right click on one of the values along the axes, go to Format Axes, and you'll get this screen. And what we want to do is we want to adjust some of these numbers. We want our units along the y-axis to increase by 1s, not 0.5s. So if it's already clicked on auto, you just click on fixed, change it to 1. We could also change what our maximum value along this axis is. Right now it's at 2.5, which doesn't really help us much because we know we'll never get a frequency of 2.5. So we're going to change that. We can make it 2 or 3. Usually you want to go a little bit above just so you can make sure you see everything. So we'll just change that to 3. And you hit close. And now we can see our histogram, which looks a little bit nicer. It makes a little bit more sense. You don't have a wasted values over here.